We somehow, in the spirit of exploration, we somehow didn't record last week, so you had to be there. So, a sort of a general lesson there. One of the things I was thinking about with our gathering this morning is that our loop of awareness is really a meditative practice. And I realized that it's really meditation in action. So if I'm able to bring my attention back to myself and then to my surroundings and back to myself, it's a way of what they would call in meditation back to one. So there are these meditations where you count, and when you forget your count, you go back to one. And the whole idea of having a practice that you can take into your daily life, so that, like, when I was on the freeway the other day coming back from LA, I was so glad that I had loop of awareness, because we're at a particularly, seems like, sort of crazy, chaotic time where people are not in charge of their attention. And so if I am grounded in my attention, it allows me to be much more responsive to what's going on. And I just, on this one trip home, I avoided, 3 or 4 different accidents. So I really appreciated that. And it occurred to me, I was also seeing an image of, like when you're getting ready to play ball, or you're just tossing the ball from one hand to the other, just that light tossing. I just want to invite you to do that, to imagine that your attention, is a ball that you can just toss from one hand to the other, and just getting that sense of the loop. Doesn't have to be like a straight shot. We think of attention as being pointy, and I was really getting a sense of, when I'm letting my attention flow, it has much more of a curved sense. It's much more flowing. And so for me, just inviting, like when I'm just like tossing an idea, I kind of toss it back and forth from one hand to the other. So I wanted you to just get a sense of that for yourself, and then let that same kind of tossing go out to somebody in the group, where you're kind of saying hello, and then back to yourself when you're saying, because attention is, first of all, a hello. Oh, hello. When you go you're in the grocery store, and suddenly you come around the corner and there's somebody, you go, oh, hello. There's that hello quality that I think also invites our opening. So I want to just invite you to hello, and then do you give that hello to you? We usually go, oh, what's wrong with you, when we give attention, or what's wrong now, or what have I got to fix? So what if you let yourself just say, oh, hello, and tossing that, and then, oh, hello to what's going on outside, and oh, hello to you, and letting that continue for a little bit. And then what I got was that my left sacrum said, would you say hello to me, please? I'd like a hello. So you can also be opening up to the attention that your body wants. But I'd like you to just keep coming back to that, it's the tossing of the ball, sort of that lightness, that, if you drop it, is no big deal. If it goes where you wanted it to go, that's great, but it's no big deal. And putting that together with a hello. And as I'm doing that, what I also notice is that I start moving my body more. As I think we're in a global conspiracy to turn us into um, smartphones, walking smartphones, where it doesn't really matter what's going on in the rest of us. It's just, as long as we got, the smartphone ready there to be interacting. So the more that you move, the more that you're saying hello to yourself, that hello. And what I also was getting, that I wanted to share with you today, is that our intention together with our attention is incredibly powerful. because generally our attention comes with the intention of control or of making something different, or of poking attention, paying attention, narrowing. And so, what if you let yourself now toss the ball with the intention of curiosity? So that, so you get hello and add those together. So I want to just invite you to do that, using your hands or using your whole body, or just doing that inside. So adding the curiosity to your attention. So and that for me takes the place of when we say to somebody, how are you? That I've had a lot of people asking me that in the last week, because Gay just had his fourth and hopefully final surgery, which was a doozy, and a 7-hour surgery. So it was a very big deal. And he's in recovery from that. But people are saying, how's Gay and how are you? And to me, at this point, that's a no, get back to me in 2 weeks. So the curiosity allows for both of you to share without there having to be a lot of explorations. There's just that curiosity and then receiving. So letting yourself toss with the I use the along with tossing, because that activates curiosity and it moves me out of my critical brain. So notice as you're doing that, when you're tossing to you and you're tossing to others, just notice how that allows your attention to land and what you land on. So there's curiosity. For me, the two that are most valuable, that are for me coming back to one, is appreciation and or curiosity. So appreciation, just go ahead and give some attention to you and just appreciating yourself. So what comes to your mind and your heart and your feelings about what you would like to appreciate about you. So my hands just started rubbing my thighs. They did that automatically. I didn't tell them to do that. And I realized that my thighs would like some appreciation, because I've been working for several months now to regain strength in my quads, which got wiped out by long COVID. And so I could tell that my thighs were going, hey, I'd like some appreciation, because I've been working hard. I've been doing this. I've been getting better. And also when you give attention to me, it's like, oh, still flabby, still can't walk. And how about some appreciation? So now I'm going to just take a moment to appreciate my thighs for working hard and for having the intention of holding me up and allowing me to stand. And I just felt an expansion. So I would love for you to check some place in you that you have a more critical viewpoint, and let yourself toss some appreciation to that place in you, and just notice what happens. Do you get more breath or more softness, or you have one of your pets comes and appreciates you and gives you that clue about how being close adds to appreciation. So the practice that I want to invite you into for your loop of awareness this week is that just that light. Hardly anybody responds positively to like, what's wrong now? But a lot of us will respond to the kind of the lightness of, here I am and here you are. Yes. And then adding in to that hello kind of tossing is the intention to appreciate and the intention to be curious. Because I realize too that when I notice something around the house, it's almost always, okay, what's wrong now? And even if something is wrong, if I add my curiosity, it always loosens it up. It always gives me a pathway through something else. Like I forgot to turn on the light, or I unplugged something and that's why it's not working, something that wasn't immediately obvious, but when I'm more expanded is much more obvious. So that's for that practice. And then I'd love to have us take a look at our card, because it goes with the practice today. So our integrity card from our integrity deck, I'd love to have you say hello and get curious and appreciative about the card, sending your attention out and with the intention of curiosity and appreciation, and then bringing it back to you. What wakes up in you from looking at the card? And let yourself just do that for a few tosses. This particular one has lots of depth. For me, when I look at it, I feel all kinds of things awaken when I look at it. And as you're continuing to look at it, I'd like you to let your ears be open to saying hello to the question and the statement here on the card, which is from the emotional literacy part of the deck. I am willing to have my communication fully received by others. I'm going to say that once more. I am willing to have my communication fully received by others. So for me, this goes with our loop of awareness. My loop of awareness allows me to see and to feel and to experience whether my message is being received, whether my communication has actually been received. Because if I just am delivering it, but I'm not letting my attention follow it, then I missed the opportunity to check to see if my communication actually got received. I'm sure you've had the experience of somebody talking at you rather than with you, and having them not notice that you're not there or not available, or they went too fast, or you didn't understand what they just said. So having that loop of awareness with the intention, I'm willing to have my communication fully received by others. I also have had so much of the experience of having people, uh, I say something and I can tell there's something going on over there, but the other person doesn't say, I didn't understand what you just said. And so, like, for example, with an agreement, if I'm saying, well, here's what I'd like to do, at 4 o'clock tomorrow, and I'm not really checking to see if it landed, my experience is that's the source of a lot of fuzzy agreements. So being willing and then checking that your communication got received is incredibly valuable, both for emotional literacy, like your impact, but also for your connection with yourself and with others. So here's the question: how can I speak about my feelings and inner experience congruently, so that others understand? So congruence, which we sometimes call matching, when I speak about my inner experience and then I'm checking. So when I speak about my inner experience, and I imagine that that might happen for you, my attention goes inward, and I may not, like even actually close my eyes to let my attention go inward, and I forget to check. Did that communication get received, or was there a wobble or something fuzzy, or there was a word that I used that you didn't understand? And then it allows us to have that second level of connection of, oh, when you said tomorrow, my attention went off to my calendar and I lost my connection with you. So this particular card, I find, really is a beautiful way to explore with loop of awareness. So I was really happy when I came across that for this week. And then let's come on back to the group. And then I want to share with you our Presence Connect play for today. And for those of you who may be new, and again, welcome and hello, our we have a free app. It's called Presence Connect Play, and the we have a website now with additional exploration of how you can go into this, how you can explore something. Because when I say this, this first one though for presence is explore the four pillars of integrity. Yay! So, so that's what we've just been doing. But there's a friend of ours, one of our colleagues, Audrey Hayscamp, which I know, whom I know some of you know, kept the four pillars when we had it in a handout form. She kept it by her computer for a year. And whenever there was an issue that would come up, she would let herself look at, kind of, just tossing her attention and letting it land on one of the four pillars and taking action on that four pillar, that particular one. And even if it didn't look like it had anything to do with the issue or the thing she was exploring, it always opened up more space. So my sense is that exploring the four pillars, even looking at the cards, if you have the handouts, looking at those, but using those as your resources, like using those as your mentors, as your support committee, because the four pillars actually will support you in all areas of your life, in creating alignment, in creating that word congruence that we were talking about earlier, that your insides and your outsides start to align more clearly so you don't get the wobbles, or when something comes at you, you don't just get overwhelmed. You have a structure that allows you to respond to life. That's been one of the main benefits for me of exploring the four pillars, is that I feel more resourceful. I can meet the unknown, I can meet, because there's always unknowns going on. There's always something coming in from left field, and feeling like, yes, I can meet this. I can respond to this. And especially if I get the wobbles, if I add in my loop of awareness, I add in appreciation, then it gives me a moment to move from reactive to creative, and being able to creatively respond. So that's for presencing. So presence, connect, play. So connect is, I love this, appreciate everyone as a work of art. So that is actually a direction that for me allows me to actually have generate the experience of appreciating. So because usually we think of other people as, if we're in fear, we think of them as enemies or competitors. But when I am in both appreciation, but also seeing other people as an evolving work of art, it allows me to give attention to their uniqueness, to what might be becoming. It allows me to see what is evolving and what might have shifted. And just that attention, the other person receives that. I've experienced that over and over again, is that if I'm experiencing someone as a work of art, they get it. And I don't have to say anything, but there's this sense of, they perk up. It's like a blossom that's been tucked, and it kind of goes, wow, and opens up. And for me, there's a delight in that as I go around the world and I'm appreciating people. Also, I will say something, so like if there's something that I am appreciating, even as a stranger coming down in the elevator with somebody, I'll go, oh, I just love that color on you. It just, so I will just spontaneously, because I'm appreciating them, how they have presented themselves as a work of art. So it allows us to share more than we're all, busy bees, running around, and worker bees and worker ants and going and doing that. Appreciating people as a work of art shifts us into the present moment of connection. And that I find incredibly nourishing. And so I invite you to let yourself have that nourishment. And then the play is I love that. The play is toss and then tell me more. So tossing, what we mean by that is you're tossing a question or a comment or just your attention. And then when someone is speaking to you, rather than disagreeing or arguing or giving your viewpoint, tell me more is a wonderful way to continue the conversation. So even if you don't agree, like someone might say something and you immediately are feeling you want to oppose that, when you're doing your loop of awareness and letting yourself just toss the tell me more. And for me, that would be tell me more so I can understand your point of view, so I can understand what you just said more. So the tell me more, I've found that opens and continues the conversation more quickly than what did you mean by that? Or, something that has more of a poke in it rather than a welcoming. So those are our explorations for today. And I so appreciate your being here. And wanted to let you know also, let's just practice. I'd love to have, and I'd like to do this more often in ours. I'd like you to put in the chat any qualities of attention that you would like, because I'd like to take a couple of minutes of us sharing with each other, giving attention to each other with qualities that you would like. So for me, I would just really like, I feel a little teary actually. Um, this particular round and follow up from the hospital has been particularly challenging, and I can feel that there's little pauses between my thinking. My thinking is not quite as flowing as it is, so I'm a little bit more stressed. So I would just love your just your loving attention. And I'd also any other qualities. And Michelle, I'd love you to just call some of those out so we can let our attention flow back and forth with those
Yes.
qualities, because
Yeah.
sometimes, you just want some attention. And I'd love for you to be able to have that quality of attention. So do we have some other qualities?
Yeah, we've got lots,
Oh, good.
gentleness and tenderness and, do you wanna just do a couple at a time, or you
Yeah,
want me
let's
to
do a
read the
couple
whole?
at a time. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do a couple at a time. So say those ones again so we
So
can.
there's a few that go together: tenderness,
Mhm.
soft,
Mm,
gentleness.
yeah, those are beautiful. Yeah, so you can let your attention flow in those ways. It can be tender, like you're giving a love scoop with your attention. And also notice when that's coming toward you, where it's landing, and also where you would like to have it land. So it may be in your heart, but it may be like for me, it's in my shoulders and the back of my neck. And I'm really letting that land. All right, let's have a couple of others.
Yeah, we've got a seeing possibilities
Ooh, I love that. Seeing
yeah,
possibilities. Yes.
and witnessing.
Yeah, those are beautiful too. What would be great also is to put those in. Well, anybody who's watching the recording can hear those, but I love that we're adding this. I sort of got a little excitement, like, oh, we have a new thing that we can do together that is really powerful.
Mm,
Yes. So let's hear those again and let me do those, circulate
yeah.
those.
So seeing possibilities
Mm.
and witnessing.
Witnessing. So when I
Yeah.
am witnessing, I could feel this just opening and more widening. Like just witnessing. Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. And you can continue sharing those. And I'm going to go off and make Gay some breakfast now.